Bangladeshi ports, which were once quite hubs of trade, are now at the heart of a geopolitical storm. With India and China locked in a growing rivalry, a controversial statement made recently by Mohd Yunus, the chief advisor to the interim government of Bangladesh, has sparked diplomatic heat. Today, we break down how geography, trade, and global ambitions have turned Bangladesh into the center of a silent tug of war. Let's start with the basics. Bangladesh is home to two major seaports: Chittagong, the country's oldest and busiest, and Mongla, which is now expanding with foreign investment. Together, these ports handle more than 90% of the country's imports and exports. But these aren't just national assets, they are regional gateways as they open up Bangladesh to international trade routes and even provides sea access for India's landlocked northeast. States like Assam, Tripura, and Mizoram are surrounded by hills, rivers, and international borders. Their shortest and most cost effective access to global trade is, of course, via Bangladeshi ports. That's why in 2020, India allowed Bangladeshi cargo to be transported through Indian territory via the Petropol and Gede border points to Indian ports in Kolkata and Haldia. In March 2025, Mohd Yunus triggered a controversy while speaking at a forum in China. He referred to India's northeast as landlocked and projected Bangladesh as India's gateway to the sea and the only guardian of the ocean.
Seven states of India, eastern part of India, called Seven Sisters. They are landlocked country, landlocked region of India. They have no way to reach out to the ocean. We are the only guardian of the ocean for all this region. So this opens up a huge possibility. So this could be an extension of the Chinese economy. Build things, produce things, market things, bring things to China, bring it out to the whole rest of the world. That's a production house for you.
While technically accurate, the tone, timing, and location of the comment raised red flags in New Delhi. The statement wasn't made in Dhaka, it was made in Beijing. And it came across as a muzzle flexing pressure tactic and seemed like a suggestion that Bangladesh holds leverage over India's trade routes. India reacted with unusual swiftness. Days later, New Delhi revoked the transshipment facility that allowed Bangladeshi goods, especially garments and jute, to pass through Indian territory for export to Europe. The shutdown affects over 20% of Bangladeshi export traffic, especially via the Benopol Petropol corridor, which is the busiest land port in South Asia. It also signals a major shift. India will no longer overlook symbolic threats, especially when they are delivered on Chinese soil. As the Indian Express noted, India has less to lose in such a standoff, but for Bangladesh, it risks both trade disruption and trust erosion. Now let's look at the larger picture. While India has some investments in transit connectivity projects of Bangladesh to link with the northeastern states, China, on the other hand, is making waves on the Bangladeshi coast. Beijing has recently pledged over $400 million in funding and development for Mongla port and already has investments in roads, bridges, energy infrastructure across Bangladesh. This is part of its larger Belt and Road Initiative, a global project designed to extend Chinese influence by building infrastructure abroad. China's playbook is clear: invest, influence, and integrate. The goal is to firmly establish a long term logistical and diplomatic presence in India's neighborhood. Remember Sri Lanka's Hambantota port? That began with Chinese loans, and now Beijing holds a 99-year lease over there. Bangladesh is well aware of this precedent, but it is also tempted by the investment that is being offered. So, where does this leave Bangladesh? It's essentially stuck in a balancing act. On one side, India, its oldest neighbor, cultural cousin, and the country that backed its independence in 1971. On the other, China, its biggest investor in infrastructure, with deeper pockets and fewer political conditions. But as the recent episode shows, trying to play both sides might backfire. The language of diplomacy is nuanced, and small gestures, like the comment of Mohd Yunus, can shift entire regional strategies. India now appears more cautious, more assertive, and less willing to let symbolic disrespect slide, especially if it's backed by Beijing. There's also a military angle over here. Ports like Chittagong aren't just for trade. They are also dual use facilities that can host naval vessels. And if Chinese backed projects evolve into logistics hubs, that poses a direct threat to India's security calculus. India has already responded by building up its presence in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, strengthening ties with Myanmar and Vietnam, and increasing naval drills in the Indo Pacific. So, Bangladesh may soon have to answer a question with global implications. Are your ports for trade, or are they pawns in a larger power game? In the past, India often absorbed diplomatic slights quietly, preferring long term ties over short term corrections. But the tone has changed. The new India is less tolerant of such hostile alliances. It's ready to respond firmly yet proportionally when it feels its regional dominance is being tested. India has already invested in alternate connectivity routes like the Kaladan Multimodal Transit Project and India Myanmar Thailand Trilateral Highway to reduce dependency on Dhaka. By revoking the transshipment facility, India is reminding Bangladesh that if Bangladesh has choices, then so does New Delhi. For Bangladesh, the warning is clear. Losing India's logistical trust could lead to economic bottlenecks, delays in exports, and straining the diplomatic channels. More critically, it may undermine Dhaka's credibility as a neutral player in South Asia. China's support may be lucrative, but it comes with long term strings, which includes Chinese control and interference, debt burden, and geopolitical entanglements. So, what could be the best bet for Bangladesh? Maintain strategic autonomy, avoid these power plays, and ensure foreign policy isn't perceived as favoring one power while ignoring and even appearing to threaten the other. In global geopolitics, ports are no longer just about cargo, they are about clout. And in South Asia, Bangladeshi ports are becoming the new pieces on a chessboard which is being played by giants. Mohd Yunus's statement may have lasted a few seconds, but its echoes could reshape the region for years. If you found this video to be insightful, then please hit the like button and drop in your views. Should Bangladesh choose a side or keep balancing? And also subscribe to the channel now for more such deep dives into geopolitical power games.
For the first time ever in the history of Unacademy, Unacademy Plus subscription for 12 months is available at 17,999. If you wish to prepare with us for CSE 2026 or beyond, the link is provided in the video description. Subscribe now and together, let's crack it.